Welcome to Monk's Temple. Sit quietly for a moment. Not because you have to. Not because someone told you to. But because something in you already knows that stillness holds an answer that rushing never will. You've been moving for a long time. Chasing, planning, fixing, worrying. And yet, somewhere beneath all that noise, there is a question you may have stopped asking: why am I never quite satisfied? Not hungry. Not broken. Just restless. As if something is missing, though you can't name it. You get the job, and then you want the next one. You find the relationship, and then you worry about losing it. You buy the thing, and then you need the newer thing. It's not greed, exactly. It's something more subtle. It's a quiet, constant ache that tells you, this isn't enough. You aren't enough yet. Keep going. That ache has a name in Buddhist wisdom. It's called tanha, often translated as thirst or craving. But not just craving for things. Craving for life to be different than it is right now. Craving for certainty in an uncertain world. Craving for a self that is permanent, safe, and in control. And here is the quiet tragedy of it: the more we try to satisfy that thirst, the thirstier we become. Today at Monk's Temple, we are going to sit with that. Not to fix you. Not to give you 10 steps to happiness. But to look clearly at the nature of wanting itself. Because when you understand wanting, you begin to understand suffering. And when you understand suffering, you begin to understand freedom. This is not a lecture. This is an invitation. An invitation to pause the endless chase, just for a while, and ask, what if the problem is not that I don't have enough, but that I've been looking in the wrong direction? Let's begin. Imagine a fish. Not a wise fish. Just an ordinary fish, swimming in a small bowl. The bowl is all it has ever known. The glass walls are invisible because they have always been there. One day, the fish notices that it keeps bumping into something. It turns left, bump. It turns right, bump. It tries to swim upward, bump. The fish grows frustrated. It thinks, something is wrong with me. I must be swimming wrong. I need to try harder. So it swims faster. Harder. More desperately. But the bumps keep coming. The fish never realizes there is a glass wall. It never thinks to look for something invisible. It only knows its own effort and its own exhaustion. This is the human condition. The glass walls are not made of glass. They are made of assumptions. Assumptions about who we are, what we need, and what will finally make us safe. We bump into anxiety, so we try to control more. We bump into loneliness, so we chase approval. We bump into uncertainty, so we cling to beliefs. But we rarely ask, what if the cage is not the world? What if the cage is the way I see the world? The Buddha did not teach that life is suffering. That is a mistranslation that has caused a lot of confusion. What he said was, there is suffering in life. And he pointed to the cause. The cause is not pain. Pain is inevitable. The cause is clinging, the desperate, habitual attempt to hold on to what changes, to push away what hurts, and to build a permanent self in an impermanent world. You are not suffering because you are weak. You are suffering because you have been taught, your whole life, that happiness is out there. Just a little more money. Just a little more love. Just a little more control. And so you run. And the running feels like progress. But the running is the cage. Here is a short story. A traveler once saw an old man sitting under a tree, doing nothing. The traveler said, don't you feel guilty wasting time? The old man asked, what do you do with your busy life? The traveler said, I work, then I rest, then I work again. The old man smiled. So you work so that you can rest. And I rest so that I can rest. Tell me, in all your running, have you ever stopped to ask who is running? The traveler had no answer. That is the first teaching. The one who runs is not your enemy. But the running is not your friend either. It is simply a habit. And habits can be seen. And when they are seen, they begin to loosen. There is a well-known Buddhist teaching called the parable of the two arrows. It has helped countless people understand where their suffering really comes from. The first arrow is shot by life itself. It is the unavoidable pain that every human being experiences. Sickness, loss, aging, disappointment, betrayal, the death of someone you love. These things are not optional. Everyone feels the first arrow. The Buddha felt it. The monks in their mountain caves feel it. The richest person on earth feels it. The first arrow is simply being alive in a body that breaks down, in a world that never stops changing. But then there is the second arrow. And this one we shoot ourselves. The second arrow is our reaction to the pain. Pain arises, and then we immediately add a story. Why me? This shouldn't be happening. I can't handle this. This proves I'm unlucky. This proves I'm unworthy. This proves the universe is against me. The second arrow is resistance. It is self-judgment. It is the endless mental replay of what went wrong and the fearful prediction of what will go wrong next. The first arrow hurts. That is real. But the second arrow multiplies that hurt by 1,000. Think about your own life for a moment. Something difficult happens. Maybe a relationship ends. That is the first arrow. But then, for weeks or months, you keep shooting yourself with more arrows. I should have seen it coming. I always ruin everything. I'll never find love again. Everyone else is happy except me. The original pain is real. But most of what you are suffering is not the event itself. It is the commentary you keep adding to the event. Buddhist practice is not about avoiding the first arrow. That is impossible. Buddhist practice is about learning to stop shooting the second one. Here is a short story. A young monk went to his teacher, very upset. Teacher, he said, I am angry at my brother. He borrowed money and did not pay it back. I cannot stop thinking about it. The teacher said, so he did not pay you back? Yes, said the monk. And now I suffer. The teacher said, is your suffering because he did not pay you back, or because you keep replaying the story of betrayal in your mind? The monk was silent. Then he bowed. He understood. The first arrow had landed long ago. Everything after that was his own hand. Let us return to a word that holds enormous power in Buddhist wisdom. Tanha. It is often translated as thirst or craving. But not the simple thirst for water on a hot day. This is something deeper. It is the restless, gnawing sense that whatever you have right now is not enough. The Buddha described 3 kinds of this thirst. The first is thirst for sensory pleasure. The taste of good food. The comfort of a warm bed. The thrill of something new. The second is thirst for becoming. This is the drive for status, identity, achievement. You want to be someone. You want to be recognized. You want to leave your mark. The third is thirst for non-becoming. This is the wish to escape. to make pain go away, to disappear into numbness or distraction. These three thirsts are not bad. They are natural. They are part of being human. But here is the problem. They are insatiable. You can satisfy hunger with a meal. You can satisfy thirst with water. But you cannot satisfy the thirst for more, because more is not a destination. More is a direction. And a direction has no end. Think of a person drinking salt water to quench their thirst. Each sip makes them thirstier. That is tanha. We consume experiences, possessions, relationships, achievements. And for a moment, there is relief. A brief pause. But then the thirst returns. Often stronger than before. Because the relief was never real satisfaction. It was just a pause between cravings. This is not a criticism of enjoyment. Enjoy a good meal. Enjoy a loving relationship. Enjoy success. But notice something important. Do these things last? Do they finally, once and for all, make you feel complete? Or do they simply change the shape of your wanting? Here is a short story. A wealthy man once told a monk, "I have everything. But I am not happy. What am I missing?" The monk handed him a cup of tea and filled it until it overflowed onto the table. The man said, "Stop. It is full." The monk said, "Like this cup, you are full. Full of wanting. There is no room for anything new until you empty yourself. Put down the cup. Sit in the silence. And see what remains when you stop chasing." The man had no answer. He simply sat. And in the sitting, he began to understand. Here is a story the Buddha himself told. It is one of the most important teachings he ever gave. Listen carefully, because it might change how you relate to every spiritual teaching you have ever encountered. A man is walking along a dangerous path. The road is full of threats. Wild animals. Thieves. Fear. He walks for a long time, growing more and more exhausted. Then he comes to a wide river. The near shore is dangerous. The far shore is safe. But there is no bridge. There is no boat. There is no ferryman. The man looks at the rushing water and thinks, "What can I do?" He does not give up. He looks around. He gathers grass, twigs, branches, and vines. He ties them together carefully. He builds a simple raft. It is not beautiful. It is not perfect. But it floats. He lies down on the raft and paddles with his hands and feet. The current is strong. He struggles. Water splashes over him. But he keeps going. After many hours, exhausted but alive, he reaches the far shore. He crawls onto dry ground. He is safe. Now, what does he do with the raft? Does he lift it onto his shoulders and carry it with him as he continues his journey? That would be foolish. The raft was useful for crossing the river. But carrying it on land would only weigh him down. It would make every step harder. It would serve no purpose. The Buddha looked at his disciples and said, "My teachings are like a raft. They are for crossing, not for holding on to." This is a radical idea. Most of us want to hold on to teachings. We want to be right. We want to have the final answer. We want to build a system of beliefs that makes us feel secure. We turn the raft into a trophy. We decorate it. We argue with others about whose raft is better. But the Buddha said something astonishing. Even his own teachings are not meant to be clung to. They are tools. Use them to cross the river of suffering. Then leave them behind. What does this mean for you? It means you do not have to become a Buddhist to benefit from Buddhist wisdom. You do not have to meditate for 2 hours a day. You do not have to memorize ancient texts. You just have to see clearly. And then let go. The raft is mindfulness. The raft is compassion. The raft is the recognition that you are not your thoughts. But if you cling to mindfulness as an identity, I am a mindful person, then you have built a new cage. If you cling to compassion as a virtue you must always display, then you have turned freedom into a performance. The real teaching is not in the raft. The real teaching is in the crossing. Let us pause here. Not to add new information, but to reflect. Truly reflect. This may be one of the most important moments in our time together. Close your eyes if you are able. Or simply soften your gaze. Let your shoulders drop. Breathe normally. Do not try to change anything. Just breathe. And ask yourself this question. Not with your thinking mind, but with something deeper. What story am I telling myself about my life right now? Not the factual story. Not what happened yesterday. Not what might happen tomorrow. But the inner story. The one that runs in the background like a quiet radio station you forgot you could turn off. The story with a hero and a victim. The story with obstacles and villains. The story that whispers, I would be happy if only. If only that person would change. If only I had more money. If only the past had been different. If only the future would cooperate. That story, that running commentary, is not you. It is a habit. A very old habit. You have been telling it for so long that you forgot you were the one telling it. It feels like the truth. It feels like reality itself. But it is not. It is just a story. A collection of thoughts strung together like beads on a string. And thoughts are not facts. Thoughts are just thoughts. Here is a short story. A student once went to her teacher and said, I am tormented by fear. I fear failure. I fear rejection. I fear that I am not enough. What should I do? The teacher said, bring me your fear. The student was confused. I can't bring it. It's inside me. Then show it to me, said the teacher. The student tried. She searched inside herself. She looked for the fear as if it were an object she could hold. But the more she looked, the more she saw that fear was not a thing. It was a movement. A tightening in her chest. A thought about the future. A story about what might happen. The teacher smiled and said, you see, fear has no home. It arises and passes. It is not your master. It is only a visitor. And visitors leave when you stop offering them tea. The student laughed. And in that laugh, the fear loosened its grip. This is not magic. It is attention. Fear feeds on inattention. When you are lost in the story, the fear grows solid. It becomes a wall. But when you turn the light of awareness toward the fear itself, not the story, but the raw sensation, something shifts. The fear begins to evaporate. Not because you destroyed it, but because you saw that it was never solid to begin with. Habits can be seen. And when they are seen, they begin to loosen. You are not the story. You are the one hearing the story. And the one who hears is already free. Imagine, if you will, that you have a garden. Not a grand garden. Just a small one. In this garden, you want to grow flowers. Beautiful flowers. Peace. Joy. Clarity. Love. Patience. These are the flowers you truly want. But there is a problem. Weeds keep growing too. Anxiety. Resentment. Jealousy. Restlessness. Irritation. The weeds are persistent. They do not ask permission. They simply appear. Most people try to pull the weeds. They fight them. They curse them. They spend hours every day yanking and pulling. They wake up early to pull weeds. They stay up late thinking about the weeds. And yet, the weeds grow back. Always. Because the problem is not the weeds. The problem is the soil. In Buddhist wisdom, the soil is your habitual mind. The mind that grasps, avoids, and confuses itself with its own stories. The mind that has been trained, for years and decades, to react. To judge. To resist. You can pull 1,000 weeds, but if you do not change the soil, 1,000 more will grow. This is why so many people feel exhausted by their own inner work. They are fighting symptoms. They are not addressing the root. How do you change the soil? Not by fighting. Fighting is what the old soil knows. Fighting is more of the same. You change the soil by nourishing it. By watering different seeds. By planting something new and giving it your attention. There is a teaching in Buddhism called the 5 remembrances. They are not meant to be morbid. They are meant to be liberating. They are seeds you can plant in the soil of your mind. Here they are. Listen slowly. First, I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape aging. Second, I am of the nature to become ill. There is no way to escape sickness. Third, I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. Fourth, all that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. Fifth, my actions are my only true belongings. I cannot escape the consequences of my actions. My actions are the ground on which I stand. Read those again sometime. Slowly. They are not happy thoughts. But they are true thoughts. And running from truth is what creates the weeds. When you stop running, something shifts. You stop wasting energy trying to build a permanent life in an impermanent world. You start paying attention to what actually matters. How you speak. How you act. How you hold this present moment. Here is a short story. A gardener once complained to a wise monk, "No matter what I do, the weeds return." The monk said, "Stop trying to kill the weeds. Grow something so strong that the weeds have no room." The gardener planted flowers so densely, so lovingly, that the weeds were starved of light. They did not disappear. But they became small. Unimportant. Hard to find. Your mind is the same. Do not fight the weeds. Grow the good soil. Water what matters. Let me tell you a story. A wealthy man once traveled a great distance to visit a wise monk who lived in a small hut in the mountains. The wealthy man had heard rumors of this monk's wisdom. He had built an empire. He had money, health, a loving family, and the respect of his community. By any ordinary measure, he had everything. But he was not happy. He felt empty. And this emptiness had been growing for years, like a shadow that gets longer as the sun goes down. He found the monk sitting on a simple wooden bench outside his hut. No cushions. No decorations. No music. Just silence and the sound of wind in the trees. The wealthy man knelt before the monk and said, "I have everything. Everything money can buy. Everything hard work can achieve. But I am not happy. I feel hollow inside. What am I missing?" The monk did not speak. He simply reached beside him, picked up a small hand mirror, and handed it to the man. The wealthy man looked into the mirror. He saw his own face. His tired eyes. His furrowed brow. "I see myself," he said. "Good," said the monk. "Now look deeper." The man stared. He searched the reflection. He saw his face, his expression, the lines that worry had carved over the years. "I don't understand," he said. "I just see my face." The monk took the mirror back. He held it up so that it reflected only the sky. Then he said, "This mirror was once dull and cloudy. It took years of polishing to become clear. Now it reflects whatever is in front of it. But tell me, what happens when nothing is in front of it?" "It reflects nothing," said the man. "Yes," said the monk. "Your mind is exactly the same. You have spent years polishing it with wealth, with success, with achievements. You have become very good at reflecting things. A goal. A possession. A status. A reputation. But you have never learned to let your mind be empty. You have never learned to sit with the mirror when nothing is in front of it. That is why you feel empty. Not because something is missing, but because you have never learned to be comfortable with nothing." The wealthy man sat in silence for a long time. The wind moved through the trees. A bird called out. The monk did not say another word. Finally, the wealthy man bowed his head. He understood. He had been filling his life with furniture because he was terrified of an empty room. But the empty room was not a void. It was space. Space to breathe. Space to be. Space for peace to enter without needing a reason. This is the heart of Buddhist meditation. Not to gain something, but to become familiar with the natural state of the mind. Clear. Aware. At peace. Without needing a reason. The problem is not that life is hard. The problem is that we have forgotten how to sit in the room of our own presence without furniture. You do not need to travel to a mountain hut. You only need to sit. And breathe. And let the mirror be empty. There is an old story from the forests of India. It has been told for centuries because it reveals something true about the human mind. Something uncomfortable. Something important. The hunters in those forests had a clever way of catching monkeys. They did not use nets. They did not use weapons. They used a simple trap made from a hollow coconut. They would cut a small hole in the coconut, just big enough for a monkey to slip its open hand inside. Then they would place a sweet inside the coconut. A piece of fruit. Something the monkey desperately wanted. Then they would tie the coconut to a tree and walk away. Soon, a monkey would come. It would smell the sweet. It would be drawn by desire. The monkey would reach its hand through the small hole and grab the sweet. But once the monkey made a fist around the sweet, it could not pull its hand back out. The hole was too small for a fist. The monkey was trapped. Now here is the heartbreaking part. The monkey could have been free at any moment. All it had to do was open its hand. Let go of the sweet. Pull its empty hand out of the coconut. And run away into the safety of the trees. But the monkey would not let go. It wanted the sweet too badly. It believed the sweet was worth more than freedom. So it stayed. It struggled. It pulled and tugged and grew more and more frantic. And then the hunter would walk up and capture it. This story is not really about monkeys. It is about you. It is about me. It is about every human being who has ever lived. The sweet is anything we cling to. A reputation we are afraid to lose. A relationship we hold on to long after it has become painful. An identity we have built and now must defend. A belief we refuse to question. A memory we replay because letting it go feels like losing a part of ourselves. A plan for the future that we demand life obey. We hold on so tightly that we cannot move. Our hands are clenched. Our minds are clenched. And the hunter, time, aging, loss, change, approaches slowly. We see it coming. We feel the shadow fall over us. But we will not open our hand. Because opening our hand feels like death. It feels like giving up. It feels like losing everything. But here is the truth the monkey never learned. Opening the hand is not losing. Opening the hand is freedom. The sweet was never worth the cage. Buddhist practice is not about throwing away all sweets. It is not about becoming someone who desires nothing. That would be unnatural. That would be another kind of trap. The teaching is about learning to hold lightly. To enjoy without possessing. To love without clutching. To plan without demanding that life obey the plan. Try this today. Pick one thing you are clinging to. Just one. It could be a worry about the future. It could be a grievance from the past. It could be an expectation of how someone should treat you. And ask yourself this question. What would happen if I opened my hand? Not to throw the sweet away. Just to loosen your grip. Just for a moment. What would you feel? Would you fall apart? Or would you, perhaps, feel a strange and unfamiliar lightness? The coconut is waiting. The trees are still there. Freedom has never left. Only your fist has kept you in place. This next story is one of the most famous in all of Zen Buddhism. It has been told for more than 1,000 years. And every time it is told, someone hears it for the first time and feels something shift inside them. Listen carefully. 2 monks were traveling together along a muddy road. They were brothers in the Dharma, walking from one village to another. The sky had been heavy with rain for days. The road was slick with mud. Puddles had become small ponds. It was difficult going. As they approached a river crossing, they saw a young woman standing at the water's edge. She was dressed in fine clothes. Her robes were elegant and clearly expensive. She needed to cross the river, but she was afraid. She did not want to ruin her clothes in the mud and water. She looked at the rushing current. She looked at her robes. She looked at the monks with hope in her eyes. The older monk, without saying a word, walked over to the woman. He gently lifted her into his arms. He carried her across the river, stepping carefully through the cold water. The woman held on. When he reached the far bank, he set her down gently on dry ground. She thanked him warmly. He nodded. Then the 2 monks continued on their way in silence. They walked for hours. The sun began to set. The younger monk grew more and more agitated. He frowned. He sighed. He kept looking at the older monk as if he wanted to say something but could not find the words. Finally, as night began to fall, the younger monk could not contain himself any longer. "Teacher," he said, his voice tight with frustration. We are monks. You know the rules. We are not supposed to touch women. It is forbidden. Why did you carry her? The older monk stopped walking. He turned to face his younger companion. He looked at him with kind eyes and said, I put her down hours ago, on the far side of the river. Why are you still carrying her? The younger monk stood frozen. He opened his mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. No words came. And in that silence, he understood. This story is not about rules. It is not about whether monks should touch women. It is about the weight we carry in our minds. The younger monk had not touched anyone. He had done nothing wrong. And yet he had been carrying that woman across the river for hours. Not in his arms. In his mind. He had been replaying the event. Analyzing it. Judging it. Turning it over and over like a stone in his palm. He was exhausted not from walking, but from holding on. Now ask yourself. How many things are you still carrying? An old argument from 5 years ago. A mistake you made that no one else remembers. A word someone said that you cannot forget. You are not holding these things in your hands. You are holding them in your mind. And they are heavy. Heavier than you realize. The teaching is not that you should never remember. The teaching is that you do not have to keep carrying. You can put it down. Not by pretending it did not happen. But by seeing that carrying it serves no purpose. The river is already crossed. The moment is already gone. Only the thought remains. And a thought is not a brick. You can let it float away like a leaf on a stream. The older monk put the woman down on the far shore. Will you put your burden down today? We have been dancing around a central question for some time now. And it would be unfair to go any further without facing it directly. So let us sit with it together. This may be the most challenging part of our journey today. But it may also be the most liberating. Who are you? Not your name. That is just a label your parents gave you. Not your job. That is just a role you play for part of the day. Not your history. That is just a collection of memories, and memories are not reliable. Not your fears. Not your hopes. Not the voice in your head that comments on everything you do. That voice is not you. It is just a voice. Who is the one who hears that voice? Buddhism offers an answer that has startled people for 25 centuries. The answer is this. There is no permanent, unchanging self. What we call I is not a solid thing. It is a collection of changing processes. Your body changes. Your feelings change. Your perceptions change. Your thoughts change. Your consciousness changes. These 5 things are always in motion. Like a river. The river has a name. But the water is never the same. You cannot step into the same river twice. In the same way, you are not the same person you were a moment ago. This is not a philosophy to believe. It is not a doctrine to accept on faith. It is an observation to verify for yourself. You do not need to trust any teacher. You only need to look. Sit quietly for a few minutes. Watch your thoughts. Where do they come from? Where do they go? Who is thinking them? Watch your feelings. They arise. They change. They fade. Who is feeling them? Watch your body. It breathes on its own. Your heart beats without your permission. Who is inhabiting it? If you look honestly, you will not find a little person inside your head. You will not find a tiny governor sitting behind your eyes, pulling levers. You will only find more thoughts, more sensations, more awareness. And that awareness, that which knows, is not a thing. It is not a self. It is simply open, clear, present, like space. Here is a short story. A student once asked his teacher, "I have heard that the self is an illusion. But I feel like a self. I feel solid. I feel real. How can I understand this teaching?" The teacher said, "Do you dream?" The student said, "Yes." The teacher said, "In your dream, you have a body. You have thoughts. You have fears. You feel real. Is that self real?" The student said, "No. When I wake up, the dream self disappears." The teacher smiled. "And when you wake up from this life, what then? But do not wait for death. Wake up now. See that the self you feel so solid is just another dream. A useful dream. But a dream nonetheless. Why does this matter? Because most of our suffering comes from defending, improving, and protecting this imaginary self. We take things personally. We feel insulted. We feel afraid for our reputation. We feel that we are not enough. But if the self is not a solid thing, if it is a process, a flowing, then there is no one to be insulted. There is no one to be not enough. There is only life, moving through life. Let that land gently. Not as a belief. As a possibility. Let us speak now about something that is deeply misunderstood. Letting go. Many people hear these words and think of giving up. They think of defeat. They think of weakness. They think of a person who could not hold on any longer and simply collapsed. But that is not what letting go means in Buddhist wisdom. Not at all. Giving up says, "I can't do this. It's hopeless. I'm not strong enough." Letting go says, "I see that holding on is causing pain. I choose to release, not because I am weak, but because I am wise." Giving up is closing the eyes in exhaustion. Letting go is opening the hands with clarity. There is a story about a king who had 3 sons. He wanted to know which son was wisest. So he gave each son a small room. The room was empty except for piles of trash in the corners. The king said, "Fill this room with something valuable. Show me what you know." The first son filled his room with gold, coins and bars and glittering treasures. The room was heavy with wealth. The second son filled his room with jewels, rubies and sapphires and diamonds. The room sparkled like a king's treasury. The third son did something different. He opened the windows. He opened the doors. He let the sunlight pour into the room. Then he took a broom and swept all the trash into a pile. He carried the trash outside. He did not add anything. He simply removed what was not needed. When the king came to see what each son had done, he stood in the third son's room. It was empty, clean, filled with light and air. The king smiled and said, "This son is wisest." Because he knew that the most valuable thing is not gold or jewels. The most valuable thing is space. Space to breathe. Space to be. Space for what comes next. We are so afraid of empty space. We fill our lives with noise. With plans. With possessions. With relationships that drain us. With commitments we resent. With endless scrolling and watching and buying. We fill every room because we are terrified of the silence. But the silence is where wisdom lives. The empty room is where peace lives. Try this today. For 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. Do nothing. No phone. No music. No book. No agenda. No list of things to think about. Just sit. Breathe. Notice what happens. At first, the mind will scream for something to do. It will feel uncomfortable. Maybe even scary. But if you stay, something softens. The room begins to feel not empty, but full. Full of presence. Full of life. Full of you, not the thinking you, but the aware you. That is letting go. Not of everything. Just of the compulsion to fill every space. Just of the belief that more is always better. Just of the fear that if you stop running, you will disappear. Open the windows. Let the light in. Sweep out what you no longer need. The room was always yours. You just forgot to enjoy it. Let me tell you another story. This one comes from the Zen tradition. It has helped many people understand where their anger truly lives. A man once went to a Zen master. He was shaking with rage. His face was red. His hands were clenched. He could barely speak. When he finally found his voice, he said, "Master, I am so angry. My neighbor insulted me in front of other people. He mocked me. He humiliated me. Everyone heard. I cannot stop thinking about it. I want revenge. I want him to suffer as I have suffered." The master looked at the man with calm eyes. He did not flinch. He did not offer empty comfort. He simply said, "Let us go for a walk." They walked out of the monastery and down a dusty road. They walked for about an hour. Finally, they came to a village. But it was not a living village. It was a ghost. Every building had been burned to the ground years ago. Nothing remained but ashes. A few blackened stones. The skeleton of a tree that had once been alive. The wind blew through the ruins with a hollow sound. The master stopped and said, "Do you know what happened here?" "Yes," said the man. "There was a fire. A terrible fire. It burned everything." "And who started the fire?" asked the master. "I don't know," said the man. "Someone long ago. No one remembers anymore." "And are you angry at that person?" asked the master. The man looked confused. "Of course not," he said. "It was so long ago. It doesn't matter anymore. The fire is over. The village is gone. Being angry now would be pointless." The master turned to face the man directly. He looked into his eyes and said, "Your anger at your neighbor is exactly the same. The insult happened. It is already ashes. But you keep rebuilding the fire in your mind. Every day, you gather new wood. Every day, you strike the match. Every day, you burn the village again. You are not hurt by the insult anymore. Not really. You are hurt by the memory of the insult. And a memory is not a fire. A memory is a thought. And a thought has no power unless you give it power." The man stood in the ashes of the burned village. He looked at the blackened stones. He listened to the wind. And for the first time in days, his shoulders dropped. His hands unclenched. He took a long, slow breath. This teaching is radical. It does not mean you allow people to mistreat you. It does not mean you become a doormat. The wise person sets boundaries. The wise person speaks truth. The wise person walks away from harm. But the wise person does not turn an old injury into a permanent identity. The wise person lets the village stay burned. The wise person does not rebuild the fire every morning. Are you a person who was wronged? Or are you a person who is breathing right now? One of those is true. The other is a story. You get to choose which one you feed. The Buddha famously taught something called the middle way. These two words hold more wisdom than many entire books. But they are also widely misunderstood. So let us sit with them carefully. The middle way is not about being average. It is not about mediocrity. It is not about avoiding strong opinions or never taking a stand. That is not what the Buddha meant at all. The middle way is a path between two extremes. And the Buddha knew both extremes intimately. He had lived them. He had tasted their bitterness. First, as a young prince, he lived in a palace. He was surrounded by every pleasure imaginable. Beautiful gardens. Delicious food. Music and dancing. He was protected from all suffering. He indulged in pleasure after pleasure. And what did he find? He found that pleasure did not lead to freedom. It led to more craving. The more he enjoyed, the more he wanted. The palace became a prison made of gold. So he left. He tried the opposite extreme. He became an ascetic. He starved his body. He slept on thorns. He held his breath until his head pounded. He ate so little that his backbone stuck out like a row of beads. He tortured himself for years. And what did he find? He found that pain did not lead to freedom either. It only weakened his mind. He could not think clearly. He could not meditate. He was too busy suffering. Then he remembered something. He remembered sitting as a child under a tree, watching his father plow a field. In that moment, he had felt a natural peace. Not from pleasure. Not from pain. Just from being present. And he realized that the path was not in the extremes. The path was in the middle. So he ate some food. He rested his body. He sat under a tree. And he woke up. The middle way is like tuning a stringed instrument. If the string is too tight, it will snap. If it is too loose, it will make no sound. Just right. That is the middle way. Not too tight. Not too loose. Just right for this moment, in this body, with this mind. What does this mean for you? It means you do not have to become a monk. You do not have to give up your possessions, your relationships, or your career. You also do not have to chase pleasure endlessly, believing that the next purchase or the next achievement will finally make you whole. The middle way is simply this. Pay attention. Do not cling. Do not push away. Let life be what it is. And respond with wisdom, not compulsion. Here is a practical example. You enjoy food. The middle way is not to starve. It is not to gorge. It is to eat with awareness. To taste each bite. To stop when you are full, not when the plate is empty. This small act, eating mindfully, is a meditation. It trains the mind to be present. To enjoy without grasping. You can apply this to anything. Work. Exercise. Conversation. Rest. The middle way is not a rule written in stone. It is a living sensitivity. An inner tuning. You learn to feel when you are pushing too hard. You learn to feel when you are being too lazy. And you adjust. Moment by moment. That is the art of living. Not too tight. Not too loose. Just right. Right now. There is a poem written by a mystic named Rumi. He was not a Buddhist. He came from a different tradition. But his words capture the heart of Buddhist teaching about emotions so perfectly that monks have quoted him for centuries. Listen to these words as if you are hearing them for the first time. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes. As an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they are a crowd of sorrows. Who violently sweep your house. Empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out. For some new delight. This is the heart of Buddhist practice toward emotions. Not fighting. Not clinging. Welcoming. Think about what you usually do when a difficult emotion arrives. Fear comes, and you try to push it away. Sadness comes, and you distract yourself with your phone. Anger comes, and you either explode or swallow it down. You treat these emotions like enemies. You lock the door. You pretend you are not home. But the guest keeps knocking. And the more you resist, the louder the knocking becomes. The Buddha taught a different way. Welcome the emotion. Give it a seat. Offer it tea. Not because you want it to stay forever. But because what you resist persists. And what you welcome can leave on its own. Here is a short story. A young monk once went to his teacher and said, "I am overwhelmed by sadness. It has been with me for weeks. I cannot meditate. I cannot sleep. I have tried everything to make it go away. Nothing works." The teacher said, "Show me this sadness." The young monk pointed to his chest. The teacher said, "Is the sadness in your heart?" "Yes," said the monk. The teacher said, "Then let it sit in your heart. Do not fight it. Do not feed it. Just let it be there. And you sit nearby, watching. You are not the sadness. You are the one who notices the sadness." The young monk tried this. He stopped trying to kill the sadness. He simply let it be a guest. And within a few days, the sadness began to loosen. It did not disappear overnight. But it stopped being the master of the house. It became a visitor. And visitors leave. Emotions are not permanent. They are guests. Guests, by definition, do not live in your house forever. They come. They stay for a while. They leave. The problem arises when you believe the guest is the owner. When you say, "I am depressed," instead of, "Depression is here right now." When you say, "I am angry," instead of, "Anger is moving through me." The shift is small in language. But it is enormous in experience. You are not the emotion. You are the one noticing the emotion. And the one who notices is already free. Try this today. The next time a strong emotion arises. Fear, frustration, sadness, even joy, pause. Say to yourself softly, "Ah. A guest has arrived." Notice where you feel it in your body. Notice the thoughts that come with it. Do not try to change it. Do not try to make it leave. Just observe. Welcome it. And see what happens. You may be surprised. The guest may stay for a while. But it will not stay forever. They never do. Let me tell you one of the most important stories you will ever hear. It is simple. But simple does not mean small. Sometimes the simplest stories carry the heaviest truth. A beggar sat on a box at the side of a road for 30 years. Every day, he held out his hand and asked for coins. People passed by. Some gave a few pennies. Most gave nothing at all. The beggar grew old. His back ached. His hands grew gnarled. His heart grew bitter. He blamed the world. He blamed the people who walked past without stopping. He blamed his bad luck. He blamed fate. One day, a stranger stopped in front of him. The stranger was not like the others. He did not reach for his pocket. He did not drop a coin into the beggar's hand. Instead, he looked at the beggar with kind eyes and asked a strange question. "What is in the box you are sitting on?" The beggar looked down. He had been sitting on that box for 30 years. 30 years. He had never thought about it. He had never looked inside. "Nothing," he said. "It's just an old box. An empty box. I have sat on it for as long as I can remember." "Have you ever looked inside?" asked the stranger. The beggar laughed. A bitter laugh. "Why would I look inside? It's just a box. There's nothing in it." "Open it," said the stranger. The beggar hesitated. The stranger waited. Finally, the beggar shifted his weight. He pried open the lid with his weathered fingers. He looked inside. And then he wept. Inside the box was gold. More gold than he could spend in a lifetime. More gold than he had begged for in 30 years. He had been sitting on treasure. Begging for coins. For 3 decades. The treasure was under him the whole time. He just never looked. You are the beggar. The treasure is your own awareness. Your own presence. Your own ability to be here now, without running, without grasping, without fear. You have been sitting on it your whole life. Looking outside for answers. Begging for coins. A compliment. A promotion. A relationship. A purchase. A achievement. You have been begging for pennies while sitting on gold. Meditation is not about getting something new. It is about uncovering what has always been there. Like cleaning a mirror that has been covered in dust. The dust is not the mirror. The dust is the distraction. The mirror is you. Open the box today. Sit. Breathe. Look inside. The treasure has never left. You just forgot to look. We have talked a great deal about personal suffering. About your fears. Your cravings. Your stories. And that is right. That is where the path begins. But if it ends there, something important is missing. Because suffering is not only personal. It is shared. Every person you meet is carrying their own invisible load. The rude cashier. The angry driver. The distant partner. The critical parent. The stranger who cuts you off in traffic. They are all sitting on their own boxes. They are all begging for their own coins. They are all shooting their own second arrows. Buddhist wisdom does not stop at self-awareness. It naturally flowers into compassion. Not pity. Pity looks down. Pity says, "You poor thing." Compassion is different. Compassion looks across. Compassion says, "I see you. I know that feeling. I have been there too." Compassion is the recognition that we are all in the same boat. We all feel fear. We all want to be happy. We all make mistakes. We all suffer. The separation between you and me is not as solid as it seems. It is a story. A useful story for some things. But a story nonetheless. Here is a short story. A monk was sitting by a river when a scorpion fell into the water. The monk reached in and pulled it out. The scorpion stung him. The monk put the scorpion on the ground. A moment later, the scorpion fell in again. The monk reached in again. The scorpion stung him again. A passerby said, "Why do you keep saving that scorpion when it stings you every time?" The monk said, "The scorpion stings because it is its nature. I save because it is my nature." Compassion does not mean you tolerate abuse. It does not mean you let people hurt you. It means you do not add hatred to hatred. You do not meet cruelty with more cruelty. You meet suffering with the recognition of suffering. And from that recognition, wise action arises. Try this today. When someone annoys you, pause. Whisper to yourself, they are suffering too. Just like me. You do not have to agree with them. You just have to see them. That small shift changes everything. We have avoided this topic long enough. Death. Not because it is morbid. But because it is the most liberating truth there is. The certainty of death is what gives life its urgency, its preciousness, its beauty. Without death, life would be an endless, meaningless repetition. With death, every moment matters. The Buddha said, "Of all footprints, the elephant's is the largest." Of all mindfulness practices, mindfulness of death is the greatest. This does not mean you think about death constantly in a fearful way. It means you remember that your time is limited. And because it is limited, you stop wasting it. You stop holding grudges. You stop postponing joy. You stop living as if there will always be a tomorrow. A monk once asked his teacher, "How should we practice mindfulness of death?" The teacher said, "At the end of each meal, wash your bowl with the awareness that you may not wash it again. At the beginning of each conversation, speak as if it could be your last. At the end of each day, lie down as if you will not wake up." "That sounds dark," said the monk. "No," said the teacher. "That sounds like life. Life is not guaranteed. That is not a tragedy. That is a gift. A gift you only truly appreciate when you stop pretending it will last forever." Think of someone you love. If you knew you had 1 hour left with them, how would you speak? How would you listen? Now try to bring that quality to your ordinary interactions. Not with desperation. With presence. This is not morbid. This is love. This is waking up. This is the path. Let us bring these teachings into a simple, practical form. Each morning, before you check your phone, take 3 slow breaths. Then remind yourself of 5 things. First, I will grow old. There is no escape. This is not a curse. It is a fact. I will not waste my youth wishing for permanence. Second, I will become ill. Sickness comes to every body. I will not be shocked when it arrives. I will meet it with what grace I can find. Third, I will die. Not to frighten myself. To wake myself up. Today matters. This breath matters. I will not live as if I have infinite time. Fourth, everyone I love will change and leave. Not to create anxiety. To deepen my love. Because they are temporary, I will hold them gently. I will not take them for granted. Fifth, my actions are my only true belongings. Not my money. Not my reputation. Not my body. how I speak, how I treat others. That is what I carry with me. Say these to yourself each morning. Not as a burden. As a key. They unlock the cage of denial. Here is a short story. A student once said to his teacher, "These reminders are so heavy." The teacher said, "Heavy? Or true?" The student was silent. Then he nodded. "True," he said. The teacher smiled. "Then carry them. They will not break your back. They will set it free." Outside the cage of denial, life is waiting. We have covered much ground. But let us end where we began. With the ordinary. You do not need a dramatic spiritual experience to be free. You do not need to see lights, hear voices, or achieve a special state of bliss. Freedom is much simpler. Freedom is the ability to be fully present with whatever is happening, without adding a story of suffering. Washing dishes can be freedom. Walking to your car can be freedom. Listening to a difficult person can be freedom. Not because the activity changes, but because your relationship to it changes. You stop wanting it to be different. You stop resenting it. You just do it. Fully. With attention. With curiosity. That is the ordinary miracle. And it is available to you right now, in this moment, as you listen to these words. Take a breath. Feel the air entering your body. Feel it leaving. That is a miracle. Not a miracle in the sense of magic. A miracle in the sense of something real, ordinary, and utterly precious. You are alive. You are aware. You are here. Here is a short story. A monk was asked, "What is the secret to happiness?" He said, "When I walk, I walk. When I sit, I sit. When I eat, I eat." The questioner said, "But everyone does that." The monk smiled. "No. Most people walk while thinking of sitting. Sit while thinking of eating. And eat while thinking of 100 other things. That is the difference. Everything else is commentary. Just be here. Just now. That is enough."